All right, if you're gearing up for your competitive exams, you know that understanding India's financial markets is absolutely crucial. So today we're jumping into a really hot topic, how the market regulator is using some serious tech to protect investors and keep the markets safe. We're going to cover the key terms, the new jargon, and the concepts you have to know. Let's get right into it. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with a big picture of our digital market. Then we'll dive into the cybersecurity fortress they're building. After that, we'll see how tech is used for supervision, peek into the regulator's own toolkit, look at the future with fintech, and then, the most important part for you, we'll do a rapid-fire revision of all the key takeaways for your exam. Okay, so let's set the stage. The first thing you've got to grasp is that our markets are not what they used to be. Technology has made everything faster, more connected, but with all that speed comes a whole new world of risks. It's why tech has really become the new battlefield for keeping our markets fair and safe. I mean, just think about it for a second. Every single trade, every piece of data, is zipping across countless systems and networks. It's what makes everything so efficient. But, well, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? It also creates a massive surface for potential attacks. And that's the key point. Securing all of this isn't just an IT department's job anymore. It's fundamental to the stability of our entire market. So, knowing this is the new reality, what's the plan? Well, the regulator has gone all in on building what you could call a digital fortress. This next part is all about that defensive shield, the layers of protection being put in place to guard everyone, from the biggest stock exchanges right down to the smallest brokers. In the cornerstone of this whole fortress is an acronym you absolutely have to burn into your memory, CSCRF. That's the Cybersecurity and Cyber Resilience Framework. You can pretty much think of it as the master blueprint for security. The whole goal is to get every single player, big or small, on the exact same page so there are no weak links in the chain. Now, the CSCRF is built around 5 core functions. And yeah, you're gonna need to remember these. But don't worry, I've got a great mnemonic for you. IPDRR. Just think of it like this. I and D in players: defend, react, and recover. So that's identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. IPDRR. Got it? Now, the really smart thing about this framework is that it's not a one-size-fits-all burden. It uses what's called a graded approach. As you can see here, the rules are way stricter for the big guys, the market infrastructure institutions, or MIIs. They have to do things like red teaming and constant threat hunting, while the smaller firms don't. It makes sure the rules match the risk. So that begs the question, right? How do the smaller guys even stand a chance? Well, that's where M-SOC comes in. The Market Security Operations Center. The best way to think about it is like a high-tech neighborhood watch program for the stock market. It's a shared command center that gives these smaller firms access to top-level 24/7 security monitoring without the massive cost. It's a real game changer. Okay, but is all of this just theoretical? Let's ground it in some cold, hard data. In the 2024-25 period, there were 28 cyber incidents reported in the securities market. Now, 28 might not sound like a huge number, but you have to remember, in the financial world, even a single one of these incidents can cause absolute chaos. And if we break down those 28 incidents, this chart tells a really clear story. Look at the 2 biggest chunks: data exfiltration, that's data theft, at a whopping 39%, and ransomware at 25%. So you can see right away what the biggest nightmares are. This is exactly why all these frameworks are so focused on stopping data theft and preventing systems from being held hostage. Okay, so we've talked a lot about defense, about building walls. But a good strategy isn't just about playing defense, right? It's also about being proactive. So now we're shifting from the fortress to the watchtowers, looking at how technology is helping the regulator to keep a much, much closer eye on everything. And wow, this slide really says it all. The difference is like night and day. The old way was slow, manual, and they could only check a small sample. It was always reactive, finding problems after the damage was done. Now, it's all algorithm-based, it's automated, and they have 100% coverage of mutual funds and portfolio managers. They get proactive alerts before things blow up. It's a total shift in philosophy. Of course, part of modern supervision is accountability. So what happens when things just break? A technical glitch during trading hours? There's a system for that, and it's called iSpot. It's a portal where the big MIDIs have to report any glitches. And this isn't just about filing some form. It forces them to be transparent and figure out the root cause quickly, so the same problem doesn't happen again. Now, this next part is really cool. The regulator isn't just making rules for everyone else. They're actually building their own advanced tech. They're basically upgrading their own command center with some pretty impressive in-house tools to make their own work faster and way smarter. First up is SEVA. This is an AI-powered chatbot built to help out investors like you and me with our questions. The mnemonic here is super easy to remember for the exam. SEVA literally means service, right? So just think of it as providing virtual SEVA for investors. Simple. Next, there's a powerful tool for internal use called Sigma. This is a generative AI that can read through massive reports in seconds, give you a summary, analyze it. It's a huge time saver. And the mnemonic? Just think of the Greek letter sigma, which stands for summation. It's perfect, summing up and intelligently generating market analyses. And then there's the one for the enforcement team, and this one's a real game changer. It's called InfoMerge. This tool automates the super tedious job of collecting data from all over the place for an investigation. KYC details, bank statements, call records. The mnemonic for this one is literally in the name. It merges info to help crack cases way faster. So we've covered the present, but what about the future? Well, the regulator isn't sitting back and waiting. They're actively engaging with the world of fintech and regtech. But the key word here is securely. It's all about embracing innovation without opening the floodgates to new risks. And a key concept here is the innovation sandbox. Think of it like a safe, controlled playground for fintech startups. They can get access to real market data and test out their new, innovative ideas without any danger to the live market. It's the perfect way to encourage new tech while keeping everyone protected. Okay, deep breath. We have covered a ton of ground, but now we get to the most crucial part for you and your exam prep. We're going to boil everything down into your ultimate revision guide. This is the stuff you absolutely, positively have to know. So let's do a quick fire round. First, the big frameworks. You've got CSCRF, the main security plan. Remember its 5 functions with our mnemonic, IPDRR. Know the graded approach, different rules for big and small players. Remember M-SOC, the shared security hub for smaller firms. iSpot is for reporting tech glitches. And the innovation sandbox is that safe testing ground for fintech. Next, the data and jargon that will make your answers look really sharp. Remember the number 28 cyber incidents. What were the top 2 threats? Data exfiltration and ransomware. A key technical term is RPO, Recovery Point Objective, which has to be near 0 for the big guys. And for bonus points, you can mention ISCO, the international body they work with. And finally, let's lock in those in-house tools with the mnemonics one last time. SEVA is the investor chatbot, your virtual SEVA. Sigma is the GenAI tool that sums up analytics. And InfoMerge is the investigation tool that merges info. Nail these down and you'll be in fantastic shape. And that is our deep dive into the high-tech world of market regulation. We've got plenty more explainers just like this on other crucial exam topics, so be sure to explore the channel. And hey, if this was helpful, do us a quick favor and hit that like button, share it with your study group, and subscribe so you don't miss our next one. Good luck with all your preparation.